So if your truck got over 100,000 miles, this is what I could tell you and share with you guys what you need to start doing the most. If you have a Ram 1500, one of these trucks, doesn't matter if you got a fourth generation, third, fifth, this is what you got to start doing the most, guys. So if your truck got over 100,000 miles, this is what I could tell you and share with you guys what you need to start doing the most. If you have a Ram 1500, one of these trucks, doesn't matter if you got a fourth generation, third, fifth, this is what you got to start doing the most, guys. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Happy Christmas Eve. Little bit chilly today here, but I'll take that. Ain't too cold. Like the last couple of days, I've been super cold outside, but I'm gonna be talking about what you need to start doing, guys. If you have one of these trucks and it has 100,000 plus miles on it, if you're not doing this already, you need to start doing this because it's very, very important, especially if you are planning on keeping your truck on the road for a very, very long time. Now, with that being said, guys, if you are here for your first time on the channel, do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe to the channel. This is my beautiful 2014 Ram that is behind me. And this truck, I've owned it for about maybe going on 2 years now, close to 2 years. I'll say 2 years to be exact. And this truck going to be getting a whole lot of makeover, especially in the new year, 2026. Very, very excited for what I have planned for my high mileage 2014 Ram 1500. So if you guys are a fan of Mopar or these trucks in general, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, help support the channel. So what are some things that I would say that you got to start doing the most if you have one of these trucks and they have about over 100,000 plus miles? Well, obviously the first thing you got to start doing is you got to start looking into what kind of oil are you putting in your 570 Hemi engine. Pretty much, what kind of oil are you using? Just a basic oil, or are you going with the full synthetic? You know, me personally, I recommend if you're not using full synthetic, you shouldn't be using anything else in your Ram, your 570 Hemi, unless you're looking to, you know, add some issue onto your 570 Hemi later on down the line. The reason why I'm saying oil, because the oil is one, I know it might seem like one of the smallest thing that most people might not pay attention to, but you got to hear me out, right? The oil for these trucks that you put in them is very, very crucial. I'm telling you guys, it played a very huge role into how well your 570 Hemi is going to perform. So I personally believe that, I wouldn't say I personally believe, but this is facts that if, you know, that Ram or Dodge, they recommend for you to put a very high grade oil into the 570 Hemi, which is the full synthetic. And that's the only thing you should be putting in these trucks. You shouldn't be putting anything else. Next thing I would say, guys, is you got to always do a maintenance checklist, because when it comes to these trucks having over 100,000 miles, there's a lot of things, guys, that tend to start going out. For example, one of the biggest thing for the fourth generation Ram is the fact that your stock manifolds on here, they tend, like the bolts on there tend to break, and it causes a leak and crack and all that stuff. So you want to make sure you really be staying on top of that. If you still have your stock manifold on your truck, especially me, I have mine, and this is something I'm constantly probably checking every now and then, because sometimes if you guys don't know this, if so pretty much the stock exhaust manifold, right, when a bolt break on there, you have a leak and stuff like that, it sounds kind of similar to like your truck having like a Hemi tick. Pretty much sound the same. Not gonna lie to you guys, I probably have heard this on my truck probably once once or twice since I bought this truck. And this is one of the reasons why you have to upgrade. If you haven't upgraded yet, you're thinking about doing it, and you're gonna upgrade it to long tube headers. Don't try to go with shorty headers once you replace them. It's just one of them things. Over 100,000 miles. I don't know why. This is like a very, very common issue, but this is something that you need to be on top of, just so, because it is gonna at some point turn into an issue. Same thing goes to me. I know at some point that's gonna cause some kind of issue. That's why I'm planning on upgrading to long tube headers. Now, my next thing I would have to tell you guys is I would highly recommend, when it comes to your truck having a very, very high mileage. To some people, 100,000 miles is kind of high, but to me, I don't think that's a high mile. I mean, I don't think that's that bad as they make it seem. But here's another thing to keep an eye out for: your radiator, and pretty much the. I had to replace this on here. I done forgot the effing name. Always forgetting some issue when it's time for me to try to freaking make a video on that and stuff like that. But we're gonna just talk about the radiator. Radiator is something I have recently replaced on my truck. And what did I end up doing? I ended up replacing it. I thought about going with like an aftermarket radiator, but to me, honestly, it's really not necessary unless, let's say, if I were to like go crazy boosted with this truck, then that's when I feel like an aftermarket aluminum radiator is going to be way better. But personally, I think that the stock radiator with these trucks is what I will buy. If if your old one breaks, the stock is always, better for you to go with and stuff like that. So radiator, you got to keep an eye out for that. My next thing I was going to mention is, I think what happened recently, I don't know what it is, but every time every Ram I ever own, I'm always having where it's like the freaking, I had to replace I forgot what it's called, man. I forgot the effing name, but it's like the cooling something. I forgot the effing name, but it's right in front. It sits where the clutch fan normally would sit at. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about, but I had to replace that. When I first got the truck, I didn't replace it, but my warranty on the truck, they ended up replacing it for me. I think it was the cooling. Damn, I can't seem to remember the effing name, guys. Cannot seem to remember the effing name, yo. But it's something that has to do with the coolant. Sometimes when they start to go bad, you will notice when you look underneath your truck, you will see like coolant leak coming and leaking out every now and then. And it's not from the radiator. It's actually from like the part I'm talking about is right in front of the where normally your clutch fan will actually sit at, pretty much. But I forgot the name. If you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, good. If not, I don't know what else to tell you guys. But another thing I would have to say is that you have to really, when you hit that 100,000 plus miles, that is very, very important. And I think that's something that you have to do. It's necessary, is going, you don't even have to wait till you hit the 100,000 plus miles, but I just think that this is something that's very, very necessary, even though it's not like a major big mod to most people, but it actually does help. You gain a little bit horsepower, like probably 5 to 10, somewhere around there. And I would say is an aftermarket core air intake. I would highly recommend. If you haven't, you're thinking about getting one, go ahead and get one, guys. And why not? Definitely would recommend you guys do that, man. I got the Air Raid core intake, and I can't tell you guys so much about how much more of, like, I'm glad that I end up going with this brand. Even though I was looking at different brands, but I'm not gonna try to sell you guys the same brand. You don't have to get the same brand, but my point is, it's a good brand, and I like how it sits on a truck. Had it on here for at least almost maybe a year now. Very easy for you to install. And another thing I will want to tell you guys, once you around the 100,000 plus miles, is to get yourself an oil catch can. It's another thing I will highly recommend you do, because the oil catch can is something that's very, very important for the 5.7 Hemi engine. You don't want to have, built-ups and stuff like that sitting in your engine. Pretty much, it could cause issue later on down the line, especially if you are like me. You want to keep your truck for a decent amount of time. I would highly recommend, guys, you guys get yourself one of those. Only $300 you will spend. It's definitely recommended. So, but 100,000 miles, guys. I want to say something though, man, because I feel like a lot of people tend to make it seem like 100,000 miles Ram 1500 is strictly just problems you're gonna have, back-to-back problems, because the fact that that's the time you have to replace a lot of things, which is not true. I'll be honest with you guys. I bought this truck, I think, when I bought it, sometimes I don't know if it was the middle of this year or last year. I don't remember, but when I got it, this truck had 110 miles on it. Right now I'm at 150, 53,000 miles. And what I could say so far, I'm not saying this to try to brag to you guys or anything, but so far, only issue that this truck cost me was radiator, brake pads. Nothing really major. These are all maintenance things that need to be done anyway. I spent probably this whole year on this truck right here behind me, less than $1,000, guys. Less than $1,000. Less than $1,000. This just for me to tell you guys is, the point is, if you want to buy yourself a Ram or a Dodge Ram, whatever you want to call it at the end of the day, don't get scared because it has 100,000 miles, or don't try to look at it like, having that much miles. For some people, that's a lot of miles, but for me, I don't think that's that bad of a miles, because that's like kind of like the rural break-in period for, according to me, the 5.7 Hemi engine. So you'll be fine though. You'll be fine. Just, but I would definitely say, man, like if you have one of these trucks, your maintenance is something that's very, very important at the end of the day. It's a very huge step you have to take consistently. I'm telling you guys, man, like stay on top of your maintenance. Anything you own, as a car, bike, whatever, if you stay on top of your maintenance at the end of the day, you're not going to have the problems that most people make it seem like. Every car, Dodge is one of the names that I hear a lot of people talking about. Dodge this, Dodge that. But crazy thing is, though, Dodge is like the best. They make the best diesel engines. Also, according to me, also, I think they have one of the best looking gas trucks out there. Like personally, I think they have one of the best looking trucks out there right now. Number one, I think they way better than Ford, in my personal opinion. Now, I never owned a Ford before, so I ain't gonna sit there and make it seem like Ford ain't it. But for me, I choose Dodge or Dodge Ram and stuff over Ford, Chevy, pretty much. But I'm gonna end this video, guys. Happy Christmas Eve, and hope you guys enjoy the time with your family. My hands right now is freezing because it's a little bit windy outside. Once it start getting a little bit later throughout the day, it gets super cold, temperature drop. So you guys, do me a favor, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, stay safe, and peace out.